So, gamers of the internet, I've been playing Nightreign for about 4 hours, and let me say, this game is brutally difficult for me. For some context, I'm someone who refuses to play online games with other people I don't know. So obviously, my only recourse is to play solo with Nightreign, since all my other friends would rather be playing V Rising for some reason. I heard from reviews that the Nightreign solo experience was rough, but I didn't think I would struggle this much. This whole video is from the perspective of someone who's only played solo so far. So if, like me, you're a person who really only wants to play alone, stick around and hear what I have to say about that experience. I'll go into details in a sec, but before we begin, if you could please remember to like, subscribe, do all that other YouTube stuff, I'd really appreciate it. So, like I said, I've only put in 4 hours at time of recording, meaning this video is going to cover my extremely early thoughts on this game and its solo difficulty, which I think is a very important thing to mention. To start, the game is super fast-paced. I didn't get a good feeling for how quick this game was by watching early videos and streams of the network test, but let me tell you, Nightreign is a game where you need to be sprinting faster than Sonic the Hedgehog to stand any kind of chance. Related to that, decision paralysis is another aspect that I didn't really understand until I was playing for myself. Trying to decide where to go next and what equipment to hold in a timely manner is a lot more challenging than I thought it would be. Another thing that's very quick is the combat. I mean, it's Elden Ring combat, so you already knew that. But I think in Nightreign, it's even quicker in some ways. The number of enemies you have to manage is crazy high. Once you enter a location, it will be non-stop action until you either win, or if you're like me, until you die several times in a row and reset yourself back to level 1. The decision-making, the heart-pounding combat, trying to choose what items to pick up, and then trying to remember what you even have equipped. This whole experience is very mentally taxing. I got very tired after playing non-stop for 4 hours. Not that I didn't have fun, it was just a super exhausting experience. A lot of stress came from playing alone. But with all that stress does come some joy. I love roguelikes. I love Souls games. Apart from survival horror, these two genres are my favorites. Growing in power in a permadeath game mode makes my neurons light up like a Christmas tree. And while in Nightreign I mostly failed to gain any kind of notable power in these first 4 hours, it did happen a few times, and that was really satisfying. It helps a ton that there's multiple different classes you can start the game with. Each different class plays very differently from each other beginning class. Not only do they all have their own unique skills and ultimates, but they all also have their own favored weapon types and unique movesets with those weapons. This of course adds to the learning curve, which is probably why I had so much trouble, but it also adds to the variety. And the variety at only 4 hours of playtime is pretty incredible. There's permanent upgrades you can unlock with the Relic system. I've heard from a lot of reviews that this system becomes kind of a pointless joke and really uninteresting as you play more and get further into the game. But let me tell you, for a beginner, I think it's a lot of fun to get a new random relic that will make your future runs easier to perform. It's a system that, for the time being, encourages you to keep playing even as you're getting absolutely ass-blasted by this game's ridiculous difficulty. Nightreign is 100% designed with co-op in mind as the default experience. Let me be clear, I am playing this game wrong. I should not be playing solo. The furthest I managed to get was the boss of Night 2, and I only did that once. In fact, I think I only killed the Night 1 boss twice total. There's just a lot to manage as one player. There's a ton of enemies, and they can all absolutely eviscerate you when your level is low. So leveling up is super important. There were some runs where I forgot to level up immediately after killing the first small group of enemies, and I think on every single one of those runs, I just ate absolute shit and fell into a further and further downward spiral as I tried to keep playing. I should have restarted, but I always kept playing and it was not worth my time. So level up, it's important. That's all to say that some of the difficulty with this game is definitely a skill issue on my part. I've only put in 4 hours after all, but I do think some of the systems as they are now are unreasonably difficult for solo play. For example, when you're alone, you can't get revived by another player. So if you die during the daytime, you of course can continue the run, but you lose an entire level immediately when you respawn, and you drop all the runes you were currently holding. Being leveled down like this puts you further behind to the point where you might not be able to level up at all anymore because all the enemies get too strong. This might be a weird pull, but if you've ever played Magic the Gathering and your opponent was just blowing up your lands, this kind of feels like that. I had several runs where I had to face against the first night boss at level 1 or level 2. Obviously, those runs didn't go very well. Nightreign being so hard for solo play sucks for a lot of reasons, but the biggest reason for me is something pretty specific. I'm thinking about what happens a year from now, 2 years from now. What happens when everyone's moved on to a different game? And now the only way to play Nightreign at all is single player, or with friends, but what if you don't have those? It is inevitable at some point that matchmaking for this game will dry up. And if the only way to keep playing Nightreign once that happens is with solo play, then solo play needs to be a lot better than it is currently. To play some very important devil's advocate, a lot of what I've just said is from the perspective of someone who only has 4 hours of playtime. I can name a laundry list of roguelikes I've played that I was certified dog shit at after 4 hours of playing. It's totally possible that after a few more runs, I'm going to figure out how to correctly engage with this game and play solo in a way that's a lot of fun and super achievable. I mean, of course, I thought I would already be at that point because I have 800 hours in the base game, but whatever. Nightreign is a roguelike, and it might act like all those other roguelikes, where I just have to keep putting in more time. Hey gamers, it's Marcus from the future. After taking a break to write and record this video, I hopped back into Nightreign for a few more runs, and I managed to do significantly better. I still haven't won yet because the Night Lord is a real asshole, but things are absolutely getting easier. It seems like my assumption about just needing more time and practice was right on the money. I just wanted to include this short update in the video. Okay, let's get back to it. And even if I don't get good at solo, for the time being, I'm sure I'll have no trouble finding online matches. The only issue with that is I have to overcome my crippling fear of playing with randoms. Which is exactly what I'm going to do. On the end card of this video, I'm going to link to another video detailing the experience of playing random multiplayer as a person who hates random multiplayer. I bet if you're interested in what I thought of the single player experience, then you're probably also an anti-socialite, and are therefore maybe a little bit curious about the multiplayer experience. Because maybe it's not as bad as we think it is. Maybe playing with randoms isn't actually that scary or off-putting. And maybe it turns Nightreign from being a game that's kind of rough to an absolute joy, even for the socially anxious among us, like myself. If that video is done by the time you're seeing this one, then it's on screen now and ready to be clicked. If it's not there yet, then I'm still tinkering at it, and it will be done soon. So make sure to come back in, I don't know, a day, a few hours, who knows, hopefully not that long. But either way, thank you so much for watching this video to the end. Please remember to stay positive and have a wonderful day, everyone.